Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dimension Magic Games YouTube channel. I'm Bobby and I'm joined by a large cast of characters today. I'll try and go sequentially here. We've got Jamal.
So,
Perfect. Miguel.
going on?
Petrillo, more commonly known. We've got Klinger.
Hi.
Max.
Going on, Dragon Ballers?
Biriar.
Hey, what's going on, Dragonballers? Welcome to another video.
Oh boy.
And we have Will.
How we doing?
Alright, so we're here today. We're going to go through the Set 28 format. Talk about Set 28, obviously, and the decks that were popular, how the format went, and all sorts of stats and information for you. And then we've got some questions here as the team reflects on the past format and the format coming up. So we'll just hop right in. The format that started with Set 28, we had 41 different leaders top, which is pretty crazy, pretty wide open format. We had 25 unique leaders that topped more than once. We had 13 different leaders win an event, with 3 leaders winning 2 events. So I have 13 here. There are 2 asterisks. We've got Lord Slug and SS3 Son Goku that both won an event, and then later the history books would overturn those, I guess. I don't know if that officially happens, but in our hearts we know what happened. All 3 repeat winners were blue, so I'm pretty sure Gamma, Arinsu, and Bojack all won 2 separate events. And then each final was won by different leaders. So I have an asterisk next to final because I believe there's still one region that has a final in Set 29 format. That'll come up, the French finals. Is that, yes? Am I correct on that one?
I think
Okay.
that's what I was going to guess.
So, gives you, this is probably the most open format we've ever had in Masters, at least that I can remember playing in. It seems like as long as you knew your deck and you knew your matchups, you were gonna be able to have success, and we saw that throughout the year with throughout the format with different things. So, let's go here. We got the stats, so you can kind of see the breakdown here. Blue had the most tops with 53 tops and 8 different leaders. Green, which this was surprising for me when I compiled this, Green had 47 tops and 12 different leaders, which is pretty crazy. 12 different leaders were viable. A lot of it seems like there was no great green deck necessarily, but there were a lot of green decks that were competitive. Red had 35 tops with only 7 unique leaders. Yellow had 30 tops with 7 unique leaders. Black had 23 tops and only 4 unique leaders, which is an interesting stat because when we go to the next page, the leader that topped the most this season was black, but it also was the color of the original 5 colors with the least tops. White had 5 tops, and then both of these could be blue decks, I guess, but Invoker had 2 tops, and blue yellow had, I have that. I think I have this stat backwards. I think it's 7 tops and 1 leader.
That's probably red, yellow.
Yeah, that's Kefla. Obviously, Kefla topped 7 times. There's only 1 red yellow leader, so I have that number backwards. I guess I'll fix that one in post. But obviously,
I think
there's
you're
not
missing
7
one.
blue yellow leaders.
Red, yellow.
Yeah, Bobby.
This format,
Shout out to Clink.
since
Yeah.
BT28 came
Search
out,
Crew.
Oh, I don't know.
Mm.
Never mind. I don't know. I thought you
I
were
think
talking
it was
about the year.
previous, right? I
Ghost
think that was the
Sport.
regional before. I'm not 100% sure. This is all according to Top Deck Diffusion. So
Me
if they
neither.
were missing a format
Yeah.
an event,
It
I'm
was-
sorry.
It was after Antibox before the ban list, or sorry, after ban list before
Alright.
the new set. It's basically a
Thanks.
fake format.
Yep, it always is.
So that's the breakdown there you can see, and then we've got all of the different leaders that topped, with Pan being at the top of the list with 20 tops, SSB Vegeta next with Biriar getting a large majority of those with 19 tops. Arinsu had 17, Tien had 14, Nuova still hanging on with 13, the bane of everybody's existence, Zamasu, had 12 tops, and then you can go down the list and see there was still a lot of decks that top more than once. So I guess I'll throw this to anybody who wants to speak. Anything here ultra surprising? Anything stand out here that would catch you off guard based on what you played through?
Chi-Chi. Shroom and Salsa.
Yeah, I mean that row.
Chi
Top
more so, yeah,
16s.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's really the Chi-Chi really stands out the most because I don't even know where or what or how, and no one ever talked about it. So it's kind of a dark horse of a pick, and it seems it just never got traction, even with its top.
Yeah, it was really aggressive deck. I think it was in Europe when it topped.
I think it finished like 9th place or something. It didn't. I don't think it finished top 8. I think it finished like 9th or 10th place in that regional.
I assume the
Surprising
two
how far Golden
Paranga.
Killer has fallen off.
I assume the two Paranga. At least one of them was Lanza. I don't know if he topped twice with Paranga. I know he was a big
No,
proprietor.
the other Parunga was Evelyn, but
He only played Porunga, I believe, at Nats because that's what he was prepping with, and he bubbled out. Funnily enough, into 33rd. So he did not top with it.
We played a regional against each
He
other.
did play a regional. He went X2, so I don't think he made top 16 with it. So it might have just been a 32 again.
Fair enough.
I was gonna say what surprised me is the multiple Daima finishes.
Yes,
That was surprising.
because that deck's kind of, sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, it didn't win any events or have any. I don't think it really had any really high placings, but it did manage to make it into the top 16 quite a bit. I think people were excited for it when it came out, and then realized that
Right.
it might not be the pick.
It's impressive that it has almost as many tops as Gamma, for it to not have really taken off, really, but then to still have been close to Gamma, like that.
I know I'm personally responsible for stopping one of them from finishing top 8. Because my one buddy, I beat him the last round on the event to secure like top 4 or whatever, and he bubbled out at 9th as a result of it. But yeah, most of the diamonds I faced in events, they weren't that great other than my buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see the resurgence of just multicolor leaders in general. A lot driven by anniversary boxes, but like Invoker twice. We got Surge Coup at least once or twice. Kefla, obviously, that's probably a newer 2025 thing as compared to like 2024. That's good to see.
I mean, you can tell a lot of these tops too are people who only play that deck, right? Whatever it might be, which is probably another reason why it's only one top for some of this stuff. Kind of like U7 is obviously sublet.
Yeah.
And
Red
a couple
Bardock
of
Crew?
the other ones.
Yeah, both
Right there,
Bojack wins
I-
for
You
Dolby.
did that, Phil. Still notice that too, yeah.
One that's surprising in terms of the low end is Iron Broly. The fact that that one only had one top is actually surprising to me. That deck is really good.
With how much hype was around it and how much following it had, and people kind of enjoyed the deck and the way it played, I am actually surprised that it does have just one. I'm not surprised it's top. I'm surprised.
Are we that surprised though? Because like, Iron Brawley was kind of like what came out before Nats last year, and then Great Saiyaman came out, and all of a sudden it's just like that's the new hot yellow deck. To be honest with you, so
I think it's better than
I don't know,
Saiyaman.
I think I think also Iron Brawley just kind of got figured out too, so it just wasn't as good.
Yeah, I guess based off the timing, because Saiyaman technically falls in that category, right? Yeah, a lot of his tops happen at the beginning of the format, and then once people figured it out, it became like the six. It's just more. It's six, but it's six because of the first few events,
Yeah.
not really as a mainstay of the format.
But Iron Broly had multiple tops towards the end of the previous format as well. Like that, I wouldn't say that like hard got figured out. Maybe it's just because Saiyaman's Omni negates kind of shut some what the deck wanted to do down. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it couldn't be the same in matchup.
Correct. I think the meta shifted, and again, shinier toy.
Yeah, easier to play deck.
Yeah, to me, what stood out was just looking at the top chunk there. It felt, when we were testing, especially, it felt like the format was very grindy and slow. But if you look at those decks, I mean, Pan, Vegeta, Arinsu, and Tien are all very fast aggro decks. Maybe Vegeta, you could argue, more mid-range. But most of those decks at the top there are pretty aggressive decks. So kind of goes against how I felt the format was going. A lot of aggression at the top.
And that tends to happen a lot, right? When a format is filled with quote unquote control decks, the faster decks tend to persevere in those type of formats at certain levels, just because they can try to kill you before you get to your full-on control state.
Yeah,
so
I
maybe
can
that's
see
why.
that.
Just because we're in such a heavy control meta, right, or slower meta. So
I don't know if I agree that we're in such a heavy, slow meta. There was only like a couple of them, right? I mean, obviously Kefla's a slow deck, and that came out of nowhere thanks to Trillo. Maybe you could say Bojack, but only one person was really playing that. The occasional Nuovo, but overall, this meta in general has been decently fast. There have been moments, obviously, where you do play longer than 3 or 4 turns. But let's be real. Even when like you guys were playing Gamma, that was not a control. That was not a blue deck. That thing was pushing people's stuff in every single game. And they were games that ended quick and they ended fast. To be honest with you, unless you're playing against like Yellow or something. But whatever. Then you have Pan, obviously. Rinsu, Vegeta is also isn't that slow. Like every time I look up or down the list, I'm just like everything here is just almost straight aggro. On paper, you're like, oh, it's a control deck because it's blue, but it's really not.
maybe it's the adverse then. Maybe because the core decks, the top 5 or 6 or whatever, were so fast, people were trying to slow the game down with all these other control style decks or slower decks. Maybe not necessarily control, but maybe slower, and they were trying to slow down these aggressive strategies in Vegeta and Narinsu and Gamma and stuff. Maybe that's why that happened. And so
Yeah, it's just interesting to go into a format and you have to be prepared. I mean, this is 41 different leaders that topped. I mean, a lot of them share somewhat similar strategies, but that's a lot to be prepared for. So in order to do well, you really have to have a pretty large scope of knowledge for the format, right? You have to be able to know what these decks do. It's not like a triangle format where you're just going to play the same 2 decks in all 7 or 8 rounds. Chances are, if you played in a regional this season, you played 7 different decks in 7 different rounds. There wasn't a ton of overlap. So we'll move on there to the questions.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Max.
Oh, apologies. I was going to say, I think because of the wide variety of decks, that's probably why you saw so many aggro decks pop up. Because a lot of the times when you play the aggro deck, the amount of knowledge you need of that deck is very minimal. All of a sudden, you're like, instead of having to know almost everything, you're like, maybe I just need to know their one little trick that they do, or nothing at all, because now you're forced to answer what I'm doing versus thinking about what your deck is doing. It just simplifies the game for everybody.
yeah, be the hammer rather than the no, and play my game. Don't worry about your game. Right.
Yeah, that exact concept. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my exact thoughts after being in the losers bracket at Nats. Next time I'm going to play a deck that I don't have to know what they're doing. I'm just going to do the same thing over and over. I was very jealous of Fuzamatsu. I know it's not everybody's favorite deck, but you just get to do what you're doing. Pan, same thing. You just swing face and hope for the best, and whatever they're doing is kind of secondary. You either get there or you don't. So that makes sense. So
Right.
I asked these guys, I gave everybody some homework this week, and I asked them, I think 9 questions for us to go through and just kind of see. I asked them to answer without discussing prior with each other. So we'll go through these. I have them kind of previewed here, and we'll just go through, discuss, and see. It's interesting, the responses as they were coming in. A lot of them are similar for some questions, and then for other questions, everybody's all over the place. So it's pretty cool just to look at all the stuff that went on this format. So the first question, we had, what was the best deck out of Prismatic Clash, set 28? Not the next set 28, the past set. So we had the only person here who I'd want to pick at was
Thanks, Will.
Daniel, who answered Saiyaman. Everybody else answered Arinsu. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anybody on the team. Oh, Biriar, let's go to you, because you did. You got 9th with Arinsu one time. I think about Vegeta all the time, but
Yeah.
you did play Arinsu.
I just played it for fun. Yeah.
Why was this better than
the
every
deck's-
other deck?
So honestly, the deck is just whether you go first or second, it doesn't change its strategy, which is a big deal. When you get into that aggro mindset, the deck consistently takes your opponent down to 2 life on turn 2 if they don't have negates. So you just push and you tell your opponent, you better open with the Nimbus, you better open with the Dormant, you better have a D-Match, you better have a token negate. If you don't, I'm taking your 2 life on 2. Like, what are you going to do? Because turn 3 I have Beast on you, and you're playing with 1 life now. Go ahead, right? Like,
It's also
just-
very specifically that Z battle card, right?
it's the Z battle card too, yeah. Because it deny that the advantage. Like normally, the downside to playing super aggro is, oh, you're giving your opponent life, they're drawing that life, but the Belmont makes 2 of that life just not relevant because you're minusing 2 cards right there. So it's just a lot to deal with. And then the redirects make it harder than crack back, drawing your opponent's turn, building up a board. Even though they're only like 20Ks, it still adds up. Like unless you can beat your leader, a 20K swing demands a super or 2 cards out of hand. And if I'm already whittling your hand down with Goma, then you're kind of just in a really tight spot. But the big thing is the deck just has a really strong early line of aggression where if you do not have the answers, you are going to get smoked. Like Kefla has the outs. That deck has a lot of answers to it. But a lot of decks don't have that sort of stability to survive the aggression. Saiyaman also can, but you just stall out Saiyaman. You literally just stall Saiyaman, which is funny, and then you kill them. It's just a really, really strong deck. And it won nationals in Australia, so then from what I understand, like he was saying, he didn't have much practice on the deck either. Like the deck is just consistent at what it does, and what it does is good.
Yeah, it's just cool. I did even like you were saying, like even floodgates. In my head, I'm just like these don't matter that much. You Nimbus me or you Dormant or whatever. I still get my 2 swings with my Z battle card. You're losing 2 cards. Matter of fact, you just lost 4 because you had to floodgate me. So like, cool.
Exactly. And then you play 18 Z Unison, you just double strike with that, or you play Beast on, and then like the next turn you just go cool, restand the 18, restand later, just keep pushing. Like you just don't care.
Yeah, I would say too, like Saiyaman is a better deck, but it just has like a way easier out with sideboard. And I feel like I was saying it all net season. Like I'm gonna side these Heavenly Wizards for a deck that's not gonna top, and I hate it.
I think
might see it. Like people like the deck.
Yeah,
Is what it is. And I think one of the points the Saiyaman deck, as good as it was, sorry Mo, as good as it was, it didn't win a regional as I recall. Did it win one? No.
right.
No,
So maybe not a better
I
deck,
don't
but like
think it
one
did.
that you don't want to go up against for multiple turns with them just drawing a ton of cards.
Sure,
yeah,
but
it's very
even
true.
at Saiyaman's peak popularity, you could not take down a regional because everyone just knew like, oh, here's 4 Heavenly Wizard Dominions. This deck sucks now. It's like cool, whatever.
There's BMS.
And then Arinsu, obviously,
Uh,
it's an aggro deck, and it's the very definition of what we said earlier: be the hammer, not the nail. And like Beer said, turn 2, put him to 2 life. All right, I'm just gonna stop. I don't have to think or do a single thing. Deck does what it does, like whatever.
I also think with Saiyaman, I think that it's technically speaking, and I think this is where his answer was coming from. It is the best deck in set 28, right? Like of all the decks that's in it, in a vacuum or a self-contained, Saiyaman is that strong, right? A lot of the other decks that came out in set 28 don't have those answers to Saiyaman realistically or can deal with that matchup that efficiently. So I think that's kind of where like there's that maybe in our conversation to say, okay, well, Saiyaman was the best deck out of Prismatic Clash, right? But obviously with the best deck that had the staying power in the format in totality was clearly Arinsu.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think they both go hand in hand. It's like if you face either one of those decks, Arinsu or Saiyaman, you don't have the answer, you're gonna get, so they both have
Language.
that power.
Language, sir, language.
Successful.
I will say I'm more scared to face an Arinsu than I am to face a Saiyaman. Saiyaman is still doing the stuff that yellow. Yeah, it has a little bit of free play, but it's still a yellow deck. Like a lot of yellow's good cards, you still have to pay actual energy for. You still have to do stuff. Where like something like Arinsu, I'm untapping energy for free. I'm able to extend plays. I'm free playing on both players' turns, and I'm getting redirects and draws and all this other stuff. Where the big thing with Saiyaman is you have to play around Gogeta here. That is really all you're actually playing around. Everything else you can deal with.
The A drop is annoying when it has barrier.
It is annoying.
Yep, everybody has the outs in the side deck, though, unfortunately, for that. So the other thing that strikes me with the Rinsu, too, is it does have flaws. Like, it does not have a lot of removal built in a game that really every deck seems to have a ton of removal now.
So it does the same things, and it does it consistently.
Oh.
Yeah, it does lack. Definitely lacks.
Yeah, I also put Daimogoku
Out
on here
damage failing.
because, playtesting against Daimogoku for Nats and before Nats even, deck's just filled with negates. And like you just feel like you can't even establish.
Tide's inevitable.
You
Yeah,
know?
like you're just gonna get tied because you can't do
Like,
anything
it doesn't
about it.
matter what you swing with first. They're just gonna negate times in a row. And yeah, I mean, those unisons are annoying, but it's not like the end of the world. It's more just the fact that you can't get a swing in. If they don't want a swing to go through, they don't have to let it go through.
Fair enough.
All right, so we'll move on.
And I'm surprised
from
by
that.
the number, like 7 or 8. It's more than I thought it was.
We'll move on from there. We'll go to question 2. Question 2 was the biggest flop. You were excited for this deck, and then it didn't pan out. No Arinsu's here. I don't think anybody was excited for Arinsu or even thought it was that great on release, or at least in the previews. I think it took people to have it in their hands to see. But here, it seems like the big winner from this one is Daimogoku. People were excited for this deck. 2 unisons opens up a whole new realm of possibilities, right? Everyone was trying to figure out what unisons do you play. Look at all these old 2-cost unisons that exist. And then it turns out you just have to play the R-type ones and hope that they live. And a lot of decks can just out them, so it didn't end up being that way. So, who? Let's see. Buriar put Daima. I put Daima. Daniel put Daima. Yeah, a lot of us all put Daima. I would say I thought it was a really strong deck. It just, if you're playing it in a slower format, it's gonna have an opportunity to be good. But with Tien and Arinsu and these decks and Pan being so popular, it's hard. And if those unisons don't bridge, you just kind of lose. So it can grind out slower decks, but it cannot live through that early aggro. Splinter, you put yellow Vegeta. Did you give that a shot and nothing?
I didn't give it probably a fair enough shot, I'll admit, but I played it a couple times. I think against Petrillo on Untap, and it just wasn't as it's a Vegito. It's yellow. It's like set up for just being an amazing. You would expect it to be amazing, and I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there that have more success than a couple games testing, but it doesn't have any success in any regional, and it's just. Yeah, it's just like it's something I look forward to for sure. And I will say
It's
Will's
too
answer I also agree with for sure.
Miguel, you had Purunga, a slow burn deck, which seems like right up your alley. What went wrong?
It's not even because I wanted to play the deck. I just know a lot of people were on this deck when it was revealed because of the uninteractive burn, and I think it's a Zarbon that searches for basically any red card in your deck, like top 10, top 15. Just a lot of good things with the deck, and it just did absolutely nothing. So I was inclined to say Daima or Saiyaman, just because I thought those decks would be better than what they turned out to be. But those decks still had results. I think you said what, Purunga had 2 tops?
Yeah, 2 tops.
Mm-hmm.
Will, you had Chi-Chi.
True.
I don't know if anyone besides you was excited for Chi-Chi, but you were disappointed by
I was.
Yeah, Chi had the chance to get me interested in green again, because it's just aggro. It seemed fast. It looked like it could go tall, but I think it just lacks like protection. Like no deflect on your 8 drops kind of hurts. Um, so I never got the opportunity to see it at a regional. I never saw it top a regional either. Just not even me playing against it, but I never saw it like an impressive list that did something I wasn't thinking about. So like I thought that was a bit of a flop because it looked like a good deck on paper and got. I think it actually got 1 top, which we saw on the other slide. But I didn't. I thought it had 0 tops, and thought it just went nowhere. I think it had the opportunity to go higher on paper, but didn't since the set came out.
Yeah, Barry, you
I
played it a
I
little
tried
bit,
that
right?
and make that one work a
You
lot
tried
too.
Cleaner?
Yeah. I was gonna say that like Will's answer was a good one for sure. It's just like I think what the flaw is too specifically is like the awakening whole thing. How like it doesn't untap anything you really want to. It comes with the unison you can't even play, and it's just awkward. The setup is awkward. But yeah, the no protection thing too. If you get interacted with at all, it's tough.
Yeah, the problem I had was like the unison was pretty effective for the deck. The issue was you want to go first when you're playing a deck that wants to play a 2-cost unison, but your free play Chi-Chi needs your opponent to be at 2 energy, and I think that's what made the deck really, really clunky and problematic. Is you have a leader that everything reads, I want to go first. My leader doesn't have to swing to awaken, I act main, take life, whatever. Everything reads, I want to go first. But then the only free play you get when you do that awaken turn says, no, you're not allowed to go first. You must go second. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah. So there's a few problems for sure.
And that's why it was a flop. All right, question 3. Now we're moving on past just this set, and we're going into the format. So the most annoying deck to play against this format. We had some similar answers, and then Twinner played against BRR too many times. So
In guts.
yeah, and Guts. So we had Kefla picked because Miguel tortured us in here, and Daniel and Raymond and Twinner and everyone who played it. Saiyaman, I think Saiyaman's the most represented here. So Miguel, you haven't given us too many thoughts on Saiyaman yet. Why was it so annoying?
It's just they can high roll you out of the game, man. If they see barrier 4-drop and 8-drop Saiyaman on turn 2, it feels oppressive. So, and then they can start stacking them. Go turn 3 barrier again. It's felt oppressive in that sense because there's not a lot of turn 2 barrier removal. And then, like Klinger said, you just have to side the Demigras. I don't want to side those, but you kind of have to if you can't deal with it. So, for me, it felt like the most high rolly deck. I could also say any deck with BMS. That's a different story.
Yeah. Flinner, why
Yeah, you had
Warp
us
Cheetah?
scared. I mean, you were playing Saiyaman. Warp G. Well, yeah, I was gonna say Pachilla was on Saiyaman on Untapped cooking us.
Mhm.
So like that. Well, I thought
It's
that
a
was
really
the best
good deck.
deck for the longest time too. Yeah, felt very impressive. Warp G. I think it's just like the amount of free play. I mean, obviously the Goku Blacks. The Goku back is why I'm saying this card, but that card is so annoying. It just does a lot, and it's not necessarily because I play against B a lot, but like I don't know, it's just a deck that it can just be very aggro. There's so many like free plays it can do, and you miscalculate how many times they can attack, and you're cooked. I mean, and then they're also hitting your hand, so it's very consistent, very big hand. Yeah, it's just a really good red deck, and it must be nice to not have to think all too hard and then while you're killing somebody.
Wow.
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 Shots fired.
Let's not lie to ourselves, beer.
Hey, man.
Okay, whether or not you had to set up a dance, I get it. That's a thought. I get it.
Dance, that card sucks.
Yeah.
Max, do you want to tell us and Petrillo why Kefla is so annoying? You have thoughts here?
And me. How's this not B's answer?
That's what
I
I'm
don't
wondering
get.
too. Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good
Or just
question.
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta dot deck. I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Well, before Trillo takes every single answer I have, I tested against Miguel's Kefla deck a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Natch, but leading up to it, I played against it quite a few times. Untapped versus Webcam, the tried and true. But and every time I played him, like I tested multiple decks against him, and if you didn't have double BMS turn 1 and 2, you're just like I can't win the game. It was awful because at times, even when like he bricks or quote unquote bricks and had a bad hand, and you're like, oh, I'm in the driver's seat, and they just randomly with their leader draw 4, find their way out, or they draw like whatever one card they need to solve their problems, then they're just back in the game. There was never a point where I played against him, in however many games we played, to where my lead was ever safe, because there was always a opportunity for him to get back into the game. And I'm just like, wow, this is really annoying, because he'd be at like maybe 2 life, 3 life, I'd be at like 6 or 7, then he just comes back and wins, all because he saw another 5 drop, or he saw the super combos he needed, or the Broly on turn 2 every game, so I'm mulligan for. And I'm like, cool, there goes my opportunity to win. And then all of a sudden, whatever I'm playing, didn't really matter what deck it was. Once you fall behind, you're behind against Kefla, because they'll just get infinite value. Like, you pitch the twins and you just plus off everything, because you don't actually lose any cards. You're like, cool, but that's fine. And then I don't know why the Caulifla promo says through barrier. I'm like, all right. But it is what it is. So, yeah. If I didn't have a kill on like turn, I want to say by turn 4, there was no winning the game. If it goes past that, then I'm just like, yeah, I'm cooked, bro. There's nothing I can do here. So that's why I put Kefla as the most annoying deck to play against, because I would see that I can never say I'm gonna win the game, because if they just draw one card, then they can get right back into it.
Yeah.
How you attack it too is very complicated. Do you stall them,
Yes, it
not
is.
let them surge ability, or do you try to just kill them and then you have to push through that surge ability 2 more turns?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you're
it's
giving them a
very
million cards.
complicated.
That was my other thing.
Yeah.
Miguel was just like, playing against the aggro decks is easier than playing against the control decks. And I'm like, cool, but even when I do play against with the control deck, you're still having a chance to win, because now you're at 7-8 life, and we're tied here.
There's no right answer.
I got to do maybe 1 damage a turn, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. He's just
And losing
like,
time?
oh, cool, I needed that card. Yeah, but I'm losing time, surely. But I'm just like, neat. And then he's just finding his pieces as he's only taking 1-2 damage a turn, and he's like, I don't care. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude.
Yeah, it felt like no matter what you did, even in the games where you were going to be set up and you were like, man, I'm feeling pretty good. I got him going here. I'm on the front foot. Beast Gohan comes down. It's like, all right, there's all the value. And somehow, no matter what happens, whenever they Beast Gohan, they always have 1 less card than you magically, and then all of a sudden they pitch for the Z extra.
Yeah.
They play a Kefla, and then they surge, and now you pass and you have like 7 less cards than them, even though they Beast Gohan you the previous turn. It's just very frustrating experience.
Well, it's gonna get even worse now.
I've never felt my SCRs be more useless than when I played against Kefla. Even if I had Evil Saiyans out, I'm like, this just seems pointless. It's just knee magic left and right, some other stupid bottom deck, or they just have like 100,000 combo power in his hand. Just get it back next turn anyway. I'm like, sick, dude. And then he's just like, go ahead, man, play your Evil Saiyan, take a life, play the battle card.
Do me now.
And then
Do me
he'd be
now.
like, no, I have the answer. Nice try.
When you rest on your energy.
Yeah. He's like, it'd be funny if I rested your energy, but I'm just gonna take a life because I want to. I'm like, all right, dude, that was fine.
Yeah, remember
Now
that
the
time at
Pichillo
Nats
roast.
he had 3 negates in his hand and let somebody get through with a double strike to try and kill him? Do you remember that? I remember.
Heart attack.
Oh my god.
Perfect farmer.
Oracle.
All right, question 4. Your favorite card of the format. We can just go kind of in order here, because I think everybody picked... No, 2 people picked the same card, but a lot of different ones. Jay's not here to talk about his agreeing with Beeryar. So, Will, of course, you picked 2. Because why not? You did this for almost everyone.
I couldn't choose.
So, Will,
Did
yellow
not read
CR or yellow ATP picked, and tell us why it was your favorite.
Fine. I'll choose the first one on the list, the CR. CRs are a cool concept, right? Like it's something we've never seen before. Redirecting. It's like a pseudo negate. It's like you don't get to attack your initial target, but I'm still gonna let the battle go through, you know? So that kind of concept, changing the game up, combined with what the yellow one does specifically, resting something, ignoring barrier, and negating its skills, has almost just like unlimited applicability, you know? You could do that. Someone just said Evil Saiyan SCR. That's what anyone's SCR. If they're dumb and swing Beast Gohan into it without restanding, you go and negate its skills. Uh, just a million different things you could do. But yeah, I mean the yellow one stands out in comparison to the other like 5 or 6 total CRs that there were or are. So I said the LCR. Especially once we all kind of landed on Kefla and we realized we were just taking the best cards from blue and the best cards from yellow. And that card, since its debut, is just now one of the best cards in yellow, hands down.
Yeah, super strong.
A card in a blue deck, for sure.
Single-handedly outs Gogeta Frieza Wombo combo, which is pretty crazy. All right, Miguel, you picked Android 18, Unknown Threat, the Z Unison. Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's just I play this card every single game. I know Beer hates me for it, but it's probably the best Z card in the game. And yeah, just make them bottom deck a card every turn, untap your energy, and then when they kill it, you just play it again. It's Boo Unison from the Z deck, so
The worst
I
part
didn't
of
really
playing
know what
against.
else to pick. It's between this and the 5-drop Kefla, but those are the go-tos.
It feels like the card, if that you let it bridge a turn, you lose. Like, there's no other card like that. I mean, I guess
Unison.
SCRs, but like, if
Yep.
that Unison lives a cycle, you're so far behind.
Stuff.
Crazy.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah, it's
Jamal,
like
you picked.
you don't draw, but you bottom their card, and then you untap the energy. It's too good.
Really crazy card. Jamal, you didn't pick Beast Gohan. You picked Baby Hatch as your favorite card here.
For
Thoughts?
sure. No, I mean to me it's always Baby Hatch. It's just from the format, I guess, in general, but I just love, I've said this a lot in other videos, a card that just says, hey, I don't lose this turn almost no matter what, right? Unless you're playing against a burn deck, I guess, which doesn't really exist. Or I guess mill for that matter. But realistically, it says, hey, even if I did something wrong this turn or I made a mistake and you're hurting me and I got to kind of recover, it kind of gives you that like get out of jail free card to give you another turn to fix a mistake, and also give you a turn to line up game where you can line up a situation and say, hey, look, I have Hatch here, which is pretty much checkmate. Obviously, it's very prevalent in Gamma where you can kind of get them down to 1 and then hatch them and say bad omen next turn, so it's like no matter what, I win this game. But even more than that, it's in those aggro blue decks, right? I know in the beginning a lot of Orensu decks were playing Hatch over Beaston, and it's kind of based off that theory that I have with Hatch and aggressive blue decks is that, well, hey, look, I can be as aggressive as I want this turn. I could tap out, I can play everything, I can just go here, and you can't punish me for it, so I can do all of this, kind of hurt you, push your life down as low as possible, and then say, hey, I'm just going to hatch your first swing, and now you can try to spend your turn to clear my board. If you do, you do. You don't, well, either way, I'm just going to do it all again next turn. So now they had basically said, you time warp your opponent and say, I have 2 turns of the same amount of aggression. Can you survive it? And a lot of times that answer is no. It just feels like Hatch is just always, it's always safe. A lot of the games that I won in tournaments were because of Hatch. If it was Beast or any other SCR or anything, I would have lost. But maybe that's also because I know I have Hatch that I could play that way. But I guess it just allows you to kind of just play your game, right? You can kind of be a hammer in a control when you're playing a control deck as well in blue. You can still be the hammer that you would like to be in certain situations instead of having to be this nail and reactive every single time with control. Realistically, if I could, I'd probably play Haction Kefla, but you can't. So,
Wish.
Pretty good.
Biriar, you picked the Doma Z battle card, which is right up your alley, it feels like.
Boo.
I love and hate this card. It's my I think it's like my favorite card of the set, but I really hate the card too at the same time. It's toxic. Like it was a mistake. The fact that it's got deflect is already problematic. The fact that it turns back into a 3 cost is kind of cool. Low Z cost to play. The summoning requirement is like pretty generic. Like, yeah, you need 2 diamond cards, but you can honestly build like diamond cards and other stuff. You can literally do Diamond Soul Strike. I'm not saying it's great, but you could do Diamond Soul Striker even. Like that deck won't just be in Arinsu. You can also play it in Diamond Goku and just a lot of other stupid card. Like why am I going minus like 10 in hand because you have this one stupid card that will also turn on Defending Friends? So now I got to minus another card in hand to clear this card, and it just adds a lot of pressure to your opponent. Where it's like, yeah, you have something like the Arinsu SR, which your opponent may want to use their barrier removal on, but they're probably like, well, actually, first I got to use my energy to commit on this, and it's like, okay, so you're delaying certain lines of play that they want to do. You're messing up their rotations in terms of what they want to do, because the logical answer is you always kill the Arinsu SR, but you can't when you have to deal with Defending Friends as well. It's just it's too good, and it makes it where like you kind of don't need to rely on the baby Z card to get the friends live while also getting your aggression going. It's too much. It's too much for one energy. And in that deck, in Arinsu, it's free, right? It's way too good.
Very strong. Plinner, you picked kind of a sleeper card together on a Nimbus. Of course, you picked a green card, but
I had to at least pick one green thing, right?
Did
Yeah, I just think that like the ceiling of this card is really cool, really special. Like you see, like the ceiling is I remove your secret rare and I protect my solidarity all in one go. Like something like that, that would be the ceiling for sure. But even just saving your solidarity one turn, and then I mean haven't happened in any event, but like I swung with a solidarity 3 times in one turn, a couple weeks ago. So that sensation was very high for me. So I just think that and it draws a card. In Chi-Chi, it's spectacular. It draws you 2 cards. So I think that it's a really cool card. It's always hard to have the energy for it, but it's a perfect follow-up for after a Dormant, I guess. But yeah, no, it's just this really cool card that I think is a cool design, and the ceiling is really high on it. The floor is also kind of low. So there you go.
Max, you picked an oldie but a goodie, Kraken Space Time. Played a lot of Pan this format, I assume.
That's tried and true, brother. Yeah, I love this card. I'm sure a lot of other black players and Saiyan players do too. But every time there's a strong black Saiyan deck, this card just puts in work every time. It just forces your opponent to always have to negate the leader swing. And a lot of the times, let's be real here, there's at least 3 or 4 people during the tournament who forget about it. They just die because they're like, oh, I have to negate the other big 40k evil Saiyan swing, or I have to negate the potential, Gohan double striker or the Cumber or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to dump in Kraken Space Time you. And they're just like, oh, I forgot about this card. I'm just like, I don't know how, because there's one literally looking at you in the face in my drop from warping it away or whatever, or bursting it. It's just like, yeah, that was on me. But it's just such a good card. And it always puts your opponent on having more than just one negate for your kill turn, for those last 2 swings. So
yeah, and I picked the Trunks from the yellow Gogeta GT support, the TP that we got this last round. I thought this card did wonders for the deck. It brought it back. My favorite card would have been that Z Gogeta if it still cost 1 energy, but they made sure not to allow that to happen. But this card, I played a lot of Gogeta with Healing Pod, and man, just playing this, and if it ever bridged, and just getting to draw so many cards between that and Pod, it was just, nothing brought me more joy than just drawing tons of cards with that deck. It was so cool. Don't always draw pod, so it doesn't always work out. But when you do, that card is so strong, and that the 8-drop Vegeta in that deck is also just like a really crazy card. It's unfortunate that it needs a card like the Piccolo deck got that just says revive works under all circumstances, and then we'd really be
It'd be
cooking.
too much.
Be a little, probably, but yeah, that card. I mean, for legacy support, that card really, for just being a 10K
Money.
but it was a really good card. All right, so question number 5. What was the best deck in the format? Now, we're probably going to be biased here, given what most people's choice was for Nats. We've got a ton of Kefla Surge. We've got Jamal with Bojack. Jay picked Panzino. He's not here to defend himself. And then I picked the just undisputed best deck, obviously, in Zamasu Mill. Then you can't argue with the results. So, Miguel, Kefla is your baby. Why is it the best deck in the format?
Just has answers for everything.
Except Mill.
Except, honestly, it has answers for Mill.
It actually has it too, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the one deck that can beat every single deck. And you just have access to blue and yellow, which is the best color combination in the game. So, in a format this wide, you want a deck that has at least a 50-50 across the meta. This deck's, if it's not even, it's winning. There's very, very few negative matchups. So, to me, it just has the answers to everything.
Cool.
Like, you can answer any card in the game, basically. So, yeah.
It's all the answers, and it can be very aggressive too. I mean,
It's definitely
25
also
cases at minimum.
Right, and it's a blue deck, and the addition of yellow or the access to yellow kind of solves a lot of blue's inherent problems, right? That barrier removal and even some situations, the floodgates, right? The floodgates in blue are kind of lackluster. The lack of barrier removal are really the two biggest gripes of blue, and then you get access to a color in yellow that pretty much solves that problem, right? You do get two really good floodgates in a Nimbus and also Bardock in the earlier games. And then you get that, because we got the TP8, we had that access to now barrier removal, which worked really well in that deck because it had removal on a stick within the leader and the 5-drop. So it was, hey, it's a 1-card thing to now remove your thing with barrier instead of me having to go and invest normally what felt like 2 to 3 energy to remove something with barrier, sometimes even 4 in blue. So
Yeah, usually it's just Deborah from the Z deck.
right.
Keeps it a lot more efficient. And it negates skills. Like, that's also relevant. So, but yeah, just
I think the big thing
good
that
matchups
tied it
with
together
everything.
is, sorry, the thing
No,
too
go
is
ahead.
like the energy tapping with the Kefla. I think that's also like a really, really, really big part of it too. Like I was a big I practiced dummy a lot for this, and like it's one of the most frustrating things knowing that I'm aware of everything you are doing because we work together, we played together, we tested everything. It's like I understand everything that's gonna happen, and it's like I have to intentionally play a turn behind no matter what because I have to play around the fact that you can just tap me out. I can't do certain lines of play because if I do these plays me out of the Kefla, I get tapped out and you just kill me on the next turn into Beaston, into Broly, into whatever. And I think that's a really big thing is like it ends up being a double-edged sword. It's like knowing that you can walk into that hurts you because you don't do certain things. You may just not have it. But the problem too is if you don't know you don't know, you just get the Kefla player gets the easiest games of their life because you just go, wow, this guy just set it up perfectly for me. Now they just die.
Yeah. If you were ever around for like Mecha Frieza, when that was a deck, it feels very similar because like they can tap your energy, they can tap your leader. Like if they play Zamasu Super combo, they have battle tricks. They have
Extra
answers to
resource.
everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's you got to play around so many different cards, and half the time, like you got to play against two different color pools, and half the time they don't even play the card, but it exists, and you kind of have to respect it. So I wasn't playing Zamasu Super Combo, but if you don't respect it, you could just lose a game off of it.
Mhm.
So just a lot of
Dude,
things
I
to play
didn't.
around.
When I played against Kefla, I didn't necessarily care about the bottom decking or like the tapping my own energy. 'Cause, like I'm just playing aggressive. But then when I watch my opponent play 18 units in Janemba Z battle card and then whatever the Kefla, Cleefler, Kale is, and then they just set up all this defense and then untap 3 energy. I'm like, what just happened, bro? Like you were literally just tapped out 2 seconds ago. And now after you've swung at me like 4 times, you get 3 energy back and you just cleared my board. That's cool. But like that's what was annoying
Yeah,
to me. Like
yeah,
I don't
for
care.
sure.
I don't care if you do things to me, but the fact that you weren't punished for it or I don't have a window of opportunity open up to do anything after all that. I'm like, bro, it's like they just got a brand new turn again on my turn somehow. I'm like, cool. All right,
I'll
next
on
game.
to
Next
that
game.
one. I'll add on to that one, Max. You have the best turn. You start aggressing them. You're pushing them down. They get 3 more supers at the end of their turn to defend all over again. You make them use it. You in a high roll situation or maybe just an average match. You got to run through about 10 super combos a game, and that's a lot you got to push through.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was a thought I had too. While you just before you guys said that too is literally that where you can kind of just do whatever you want to do, whether your turn is kind of mapped out, right? And the Kepler turns tend to be mapped out because the things you can do are kind of in a sense cookie cutter, but you just do them and you could play your turn, and then it's really our turn, right? You pass your turn, and like you guys said, you're untapping that mana. You're sitting here now saying, well, I did what I was going to do no matter what, and I can still interact with what you're doing. And a lot of decks can't do that, right? A lot of decks can't do what they want to do and also be interactive. They kind of have to choose which one they're going to do between the turn cycles. Whereas Kefla can just say, I could do both. I can clear your board, at least slow your board down, kill what I need to kill, play these things, aggress my board state, and oh, hey, your turn. Well, I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna tap that. I'm gonna do this and do that. Okay, cool. Is it my turn yet? So
Yeah, I picked Zamasu Mill, and like Miguel said, Kefla has like a 50-50 or better matchup into everything. Zamasu Mill has a very bad matchup into red, but for the format, in
Mhm.
which there was really only one red deck running around, besides Jason's fan, the, it could answer everything. It also splashed another color, splash in yellow just to get Nimbus, but playing 8 of the extra card floodgates that just end turns, and you're just on the timer, and you have to be able to kill them before you run out of cards. And even Miguel, who Kefla has like a good amount of answers for indestructible. It can do a lot of things with Cunning Trio, with the Ape, with you can answer a lot of stuff, and it still just can shut you out. So I don't think it's as good as Kefla like in the overall scheme of the game, but for the format and just if you dodge red, you're gonna be sitting pretty. I just thought that was a really good choice by AJ, and I'll be curious to see if he runs it back at Worlds to see if that's viable with such like a weird little pocket meta. Um, but yeah, just what like when I think about and I have a lot of respect for it, just as when I think about all the stuff I tried to beat Kefla with, and a lot of it didn't work, and it's like oh, Zamasu, Zamasu can do it. You don't actually have to beat them; you just run them out of cards, which a little different with side deck. Obviously, it's
play
a
the
little bit
game.
different because you get access to the red Vegeta, but it's such a wide format. Do you have all these side deck cards for it? That's the problem. The format's like if you put 3 Heavenly Wizard Demeters in your side, that's what are you cutting? Are you cutting Deborah? Are you cutting the anti-mill stuff? Like, you just have to pick your poison on the matchups, and I think it was definitely a good pick for Nats. So, question 6, and I also just wanted to.
I don't even get to answer about Bojack. This is crazy.
You can tell us why Bojack was the best deck in format, but I don't know if you'll be right.
Take deck.
So
Are you
Miles
honest?
Beast
Is that-
I mean,
obviously, obviously.
Oh,
Obviously, too soon.
Obviously.
No, I think Bojack is was the best deck in the format, and we've had these side conversations about it, each of us individually in certain times. But it low key is the best deck. It's just one of the hardest decks to play correctly, and I think it checks a lot of those boxes that we're saying about Kefla. And it has a lot of those access to those things where it can play its own game. It doesn't really care what you're doing. It's going to do what it wants to do. It can be aggressive. It could play the long game. It ramps, right? It has a built-in ramp and consistent, which is very nice. And you have access to battle tricks, but those battle tricks also slow your opponent down, right? And you have these battle tricks that you can just do on your turn and still do what you need to do. It's that deck that can be a hammer and a nail whenever it needs to, depending on the situation. It also has one of the best cards in the game, in totality, is Galactic Buster. And Galactic Buster, a lot of people kind of forgot about that card, but there was a reason that it made blue so strong back in the day, was because it gave blue aggro. With the Bojack card 4-drop, and now what happened? Ben, I realized that, so they errated the Galactic Buster to only work with the Bojack leader, so it was fine in a vacuum. But then they started giving Bojack more better blue cards and better blue Bojack specifically to play, and now it's, oh wait, the thing that we didn't like and we didn't want, which is why we got rid of it from generic blue, we just put it all in one deck. Which is technically, the card has always been a problem. The interaction of that card has always been a problem. And so now you have it in one thing, and it's like, okay, as long as it's one thing, a lot of people just don't pay attention to it, but it's actually very, very overpowered. So like for that reason is kind of where I'm like, oh, Bojack really is kind of the best deck. And if more people picked it up, right, we see Dalby, and Dalby is winning with it for the last year, at different events and topping with it. And honestly, it really, to me, is more so the lack of people just trying to adopt the deck. And I understand why, because it's one of those decks, the first time you play it, you feel like this deck sucks. It was something I felt the very first time a few years ago. And then you kind of learn the lines and you understand the deck. And you're like, oh, wow, I actually see the power. But it sucks those first couple, maybe first 10 games you might need to put in before you realize how strong it is. And a lot of people aren't putting that time in. So then they just chalk it up and say, oh, Dobby's just that good of a player. But even me, I picked the deck up after not playing it for a while. And I was able to sit there and, get second place and or I think it was third, but I was in the finals with it after not playing the deck in a long time just because of that muscle memory. But that's just how strong the deck really is when you know what it does and understand it.
It's a deck that benefits from not having a lot of people playing it, so it's hard to get that good testing against Bojack because not a lot of people can emulate that top level of play that you're going to see at the events, right? So, but that's another deck that just, unless you have Turning the Tide, I don't know how you beat Zamasu. That seems like quite the uphill battle.
Yeah, that matchup's a write-off.
I mean, very, very negative matchup. But hey, dodge it and you're fine. You'll be good. All right. Question 6. The best legacy support in 2025. So we got the anniversary box, and we actually got, I think in a couple sets, we got in-set legacy support, and we also got the TPs with a lot of support. So a couple of common ones here. I think we'll go first to Klinger, who picked Surge 2 and did well, I guess, prior to this format, but was playing it this year. So what was so good about that support?
I think that, so we got 3 cards, and they all just added so much more to the leader. It's adding so much. Obviously it made it viable again, but you're doing everything that like the deck wants to do plus some more. I mean, you're drawing with your leader 4 cards after you play the Vegeta. The Videl self awakens you, which could be a problem, and taps. It has barrier blocker. I mean, you're just loading out barrier blockers now with all the cards, but and then the unison. I mean, it's just a perfect pitch off your leader. It's like the leader draws 3. All right, there we go. So like you draw a ton of cards with all these new support cards, and now also you're looking at double strike, dual attack, crit, and on the backside, and I mean that's just really cool finishing power too. And you have access to counter. It just felt like they didn't miss with a single card, and I mean it's just great for sure. And it's giving your Surge leader infinite ability. Well, not infinite ammo, but like 6 cards underneath it now rather than just 2. So it feels like infinite ammo in a game that only lasts 6-7 turns. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool if you think about that legacy support and what they did for the Surge leaders, because that was kind of a big problem with them, that why they all fell off, other than ones that got hit, especially after they'd kind of gotten hit too, or errated, or I guess technically errated. Was Surge's biggest issue was, well, once you use your Surge effect, you just become a vanilla 15k leader that does not do anything at all for the rest of the game. And it always just kind of felt bad. You had to be strategic about when you used your detach effects. And that support for Surge Coup allowed it to say, hey, you get to not just be a vanilla leader. You get to keep on at least playing with your leader, which is also very important in a leader that is a leader-based deck, right? Surge Coup is a very leader deck. For a lot of it lives and breathes with his ability to kind of give himself his own boost and give himself his own keywords to kind of push through. So it was kind of like, hey, well, but what happens after you stop doing it, right? You had to choose between, do I want to be aggressive with my leader, or did I want to stun your board, right? Or negate the effects of your board. But now you kind of don't have to be forced to do that, which is just nice to see Bandai saying, hey, we understand Surge, we understand what we did, we understand how strong they could be, and here's kind of support to try to make them playable still, and kind of keeping up with how different it is from when they came out to where the format and the new leaders are now, to keep them relevant.
Yeah. I will say too, something I forgot that I just thought after. You don't know?
No, dude. It's just I was just gonna say it's just funny that because we all know Surge leaders when they first came out were broken, but then it's like they neutered it, and then they're coming full circle and saying, "Here's legacy port, have fun with it." And now they're broken all over again. Possibly,
they were ahead of their time
than before. And I'm just like, what happened, Bandai? Like we've literally back to square one with these Surge leaders again. And if more people pick them up, I'm sure it'd be a problem, even more so than before.
They were just ahead of their time. Like back then, they were silly and they were broken, and the idea of it was amazing, but the execution was like, this is not fair to how other leaders play in the game. And I think now they are more leveled with how newer leaders play the game, which is probably why they're going back.
Disagree.
I mean, Surge is broken. It's always been broken.
On the same level still. Surge in general is broken. You're saying like, the colors, the game is caught up to what Surge was doing, but like they gave minimal support to Invoker, and Peter Dance randomly takes out an entire regional with it. I don't know how, but here we are. And then they gave support to Surge Coup before that, and then Clear's like, I'll just cruise with it, get second place or whatever it was, just for fun.
Stage in finals.
He only played the deck. yeah, exactly. And then we have Kefla over here, which literally has no negatives at any point in the game. So it's just like, when you say everything's caught up with what Surge is doing, that's a lie. Let's be honest, dude.
Well, hey, look, it's the desired
dual attack crit.
For sure. It's the desired result. It's the desired result, right? They did this, and they made the support for these Surge leaders, and they said, oh, wait, we did make them all stronger, right? So, like, technically, they knew what they're doing, all right? Maybe all fine, a little bit too strong, because they were already
you're
broken.
Saying
but
everything's leveled out. It is not leveled out.
Not everything. Just there's certain leaders that are broken. It's just not all of them.
They're either Surge leaders are either broken or they just don't function. Like I said, Kefla is the best legacy support, which is objectively the correct answer. If you're gonna say it's the best deck in the format, it, it went from completely unplayable to the best deck.
Nothing, just
It
With
literally
three
never had
cards.
results
for
before.
sure. That's the right
Like
answer.
it was
Yeah.
lit even in search format, it was completely unplayable.
Yeah, it was
And they
one of the
fixed it
worst
Yeah.
ones.
with 3 cards.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to add to
You also get
If it wasn't a deck, I would have told you to play Surge.
one more thing, Klinger, because you get what makes Surge leaders broken inherently
Yeah.
too is the access to both colors, right? Like, or whatever those two colors might be.
Mhm.
Where Bandai has been making very, hey, if your leader is X, right? If your leader is yellow or blue or green specifically, but that, so it kind of, you couldn't really mix and match anyway, right? Or this strong card's really strong, kind of based off how the game used to be, where you could just play anything and anything. But now you have these dual color leaders that have access to the most powerful card of that respective color, which is also a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Like you miss out on some things like token negates, but I will say like what I've been trying to say now is like the reason why these are the right answers is because not only did they increase the deck's strength obviously, but they added like new play style and like actual ways that the deck function. Like in Surge Crew specifically, now I don't have to worry about removal. Like your board is stun locked, its skills are all negated, it's not untapping for I don't have to clear anything. So it's like, and with Kefla obviously added a whole play style as well. Like now you're just going in this 5-drop all the new cards, you're playing all the new cards. Same with Surge Crew. So I think that's the best answers for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Biriar, you were the only person that
Oh, we
picked
know
a non-multicolored deck. You picked Green Gohan. I don't even know what support
Yes.
Green Gohan.
What's the card?
So-
What is
but
just the
Go.
cards in general?
Good night.
Okay.
just
No,
just go
so-
on. Just green go on.
Okay, so the thing is Green Gohan, it didn't get like direct support in terms of like it didn't get any promos or anything like that, right? But the thing is there was a time it was the best green deck, right? And you always have to stop and the one that had the Z leader, the one that had the 16 all that
Hyperbolic
Green
time
Gohan.
chamber, yeah. Mhm.
The time chamber, right?
Oh, that
Yeah.
green go on. It got
Yeah.
support?
So, I'm trying to get to that.
Indirectly.
So the thing is,
Explaining it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain it. So the thing is, you go through the sets and it's like, okay, it got power crept a bit, yada yada, whatever, and you go look at stuff and it's like, okay, so BT27 gave it a 5-cost Gohan SR basically, which is another name. So when you attack with it, you get your leader auto, which was always a problem, which was like, oh man, I ran out of solidarities and I ran out of free play 4-drops, I can't draw anymore, yada yada. And now it's like, no, now you have another target there. So that already was a thing back in BT27. But then BT28 gave us a slew of really, really good generic SRs, and also the Cheers Goku promo, the regional promo. All these cards combined in that deck made it flow like I don't know how to say it. It just flows. The deck is smooth. Like I built it for the Trinity format, and it was like crazy. I was literally winning games on turn 3. I had easier games playing that than I did playing Red Vegeta for the Trinity event. It was like, this is crazy. Like super well. Like everything just clicks. It's like, oh, I do this, and then this happens, and that happens, and I draw on your turn, and I draw on my turn, and I do this, and I do that, blah blah blah. And it's like, bro, this deck is actually really cool now. And it's like all these SRs, these promos, just it works. The deck is smooth. It's just really, really good. And I'll be honest, like I obviously took Red Vegeta for Nats, but like that deck was up there for quite a while for myself because I'm like, this deck actually does stuff. It's not a pushover. Also, you have King Cold again, so you know.
Hey,
that's
my
been
favorite
around.
card.
That's been around.
Yeah.
That is your favorite card killing.
I know. I
It is
should have wrote
really
King Gold
is.
Gate. My apologies. We'll we'll go back. We'll change that.
Fix it in post.
And then post.
Max, I kind of stepped on SS4 Vegeta's Legacy support with my favorite card, but do you have anything to add to the Trunks?
Oh, wait, repeat that one more time, bro.
Do you have anything to add on this SS4 Gogeta support that you picked as your answer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved the SS4 Go support for sure, and it definitely pushed it to more playable level, which I really appreciated. I just that Trunks promo. I think a lot of people were in the same camp that I was, where I read it and I'm like, oh, this is really good for the deck. I just didn't think it would be that good. Where it was just like, this is gonna be a national level winning deck all of a sudden, just because of that one card just opening up what the deck wants to do and can do. So credit to Michael for being able to figure that out and do what he did. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite decks. I mean, we talked about the deck a lot already, so there's not too much to add to it.
Sorry to interrupt you. I said, don't forget about the Z Battle card. It got 2 support cards.
All right, bro. Just calm down.
Okay.
It's past
Rest
your
in
bedtime.
peace.
It's past your bedtime.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm out.
I mean, hey,
Maybe
successor
we
for
could take a
3.
protein shot or something and go to bed, because that's wild to even say that.
I've heard that nobody's ever
Successor.
cast that card. I have not ever seen
I
it
don't
played.
think anyone ever
I have.
plans to be honest.
I have.
Liar. All right, question 7.
Beers cast every card in the game.
No,
Shocker.
Biggest
Before
legacy
the
support
errata, or like
flop.
what?
So
Post.
this is the stuff that we were excited for, either the anniversary box or TPs, and it just did not hit the mark. We got a Max and I have a similar pick, and I think that's the only one. Buriar Warriors of Universe 7, is that the more recent multicolor?
It's the Invoker leader. It's the Invoker
Yeah.
leader.
So that got
Everybody on it?
That got a full round of, I think, multiple TPs in that, with Go Tanks and Vegex and them and
Multiple TPs and SRs.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That deck just sucks, dude. Like, there's no. The deck was clunky back then. It didn't flow properly. And me and Fizzle back in the day somehow figured out how to like beat Red Sin and Red SS4 at full power back then. But like, we had to high roll on everything, and the promos just did nothing. I look, I'm like, wow, this didn't solve anything. What does it do for me? This deck sucks still. Like, it's a letdown. It just was not good. It was horrible support. The best card was the battle card. The rest is just like, get out of here.
Player, we made a whole video about the green Go Tank support in that same TP pack. It just didn't get there.
Yep, my thoughts are the same. Ban Pakapan is the most disappointing card I've ever seen. It's cool, like discards 2 cards, but when am I paying this 1 for the Z extra, and when am I playing an 8-drop Go Tanks? I mean, the blue one, yes, I get it. The 3-drop, the dual name, fantastic. So I will say, like, they did it half right, but the fact that it doesn't make the deck any better. I mean, I get 1 more 5k combo each turn cycle. That's it. That's the only improvement. So yeah, I mean, obviously Green Go Tanks is the deck that I like the most, and I just it wasn't enough for me even to sleeve it up yet. So yeah, it was very disappointing.
Miguel, you picked Garlic Jr., the yellow deck. A lot of people were pretty hyped about those TPs. Why do you think that one flopped?
I wasn't hype about it at all, but all I could keep hearing is how good the deck is. I just didn't see it. It just doesn't draw cards. I mean, you're a deck that doesn't draw, and if your indestructible guys don't live, you just lose. And a lot of things answer indestructible now, so yeah, you need to give it draw power, and then maybe the deck does something.
Yeah, Daniel picked Blue Bardock. I know we tried a few games with that, and it seemed like it was not the worst deck.
That
ever.
deck's good.
It had some tools, but it's just a little slow. I think they missed by a little bit.
That is the issue. That's actually the exact issue. If you face something aggressive like a Rinsu or TN or something like that, you couldn't recover. But if you face anything that's even like, oh, the deck starts pumping its gas on like turn 3, you just stomp those decks. It's those turn 2 aggro decks that really shut it down. Because like otherwise, that deck, we had like 24 cards in hand, man. Like we had 20 plus cards in hand. Like the deck is crazy against anything that isn't hyper aggro.
Jay picked Red U7, which I think the community was very excited for on release of the anniversary box that deck was going to get support, but it never showed up anywhere. Buriar, you probably had the most experience with that deck here. Any thoughts on why that support flopped?
Honestly, the support did not flop. You just needed to have the guts to play the deck. I'll be real with you. You just need to have the guts to play the deck. But my mindset for events was I'm playing Red Vegeta because my goal was to try and win a regional, so I'm trying to win a regional. I know I can top a regional with Red U7, but I don't think I can win a regional with Red U7, so that's why I didn't play it personally, but I 100% firmly believe the deck, you can definitely top a regional with it. The support was good. It's just you have to have the guts to play a deck that has, like, on average 8 cards in hand, and that's a risky thing, especially when someone like a Rinsu's out there and things like that, but you have to have the guts to do it, and people just don't want to take that risk because it is risky.
41 liters topped, and it didn't show. So I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a little bit deeper than that.
To
This
be-
list is cool,
to be
interesting
fair-
though. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Max.
to be fair though, the Red U7 deck, a lot of the attackers are still struggle with the fact that they're all 15Ks into a 20K.
19Ks.
Sure,
Might as well be
still not
15 at
20K.
that point.
Yeah, but exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even at the end of the day, when you're facing down even black decks having Senzu being effects on like 2-3 other cards in the deck, it's just like, what do I do with this 19K attack? Apparently,
Yeah. What made that deck strong was the amount of pressure it could put because your leader was stuck at 15, and now it's like, oh, now you owe me more cards than you're really gaining. So, is it really worth it? So, but I was gonna say, like, the list is, because technically, like, all of these are correct answers, right? Like, a lot of this stuff were things that people were excited about, and a lot of them, some had more hype than the others, but it became a huge flop for every single deck that I think everyone put on here. I just think even with my answer, like Great 8 Goku, it's just really any of the Great 8 Gokus, because I've noticed a trend with Bandai is they keep releasing big apes that are yellow, and I feel like they're trying to make, I don't know which one, but one of these Great 8 decks better, and they keep making Great 8 decks, right? Whether it's Goku or Gohan or whatever, but they just keep trying, and these Great 8 decks never seem to work no matter what support they give them, right? And it just seems like there's just no, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't really think of it, but they just don't know what they're doing with these decks, right? None of them have this clear, concise to them. I think the best one that we've probably really ever had is the one that can rest everything, and that was really strong in Latin America, Ape Coup. But like, that's the best one we got, and that one got support, and a lot of these cards work well with that. Like low key Gogeta SCR would probably be the best deck. Like, that's probably the best deck for Gogeta SCR because you just tap everything. They can't play around it, right? Realistically, but they all have their own shortcomings within that, and they gave that. They just keep making these weird apes. Even the TP, right? Like this new ape TP that we got, it's clearly supposed to be for an ape deck. It's not really, right? We can tell that these
It's
TPs,
for Ape Coup.
right? They were legacy support cards or TPs realistically, but that card is strong on its own. Obviously, it's busted, but it doesn't even help the deck realistically in a way that you care.
Yeah, that's the best support Blue has gotten in a long time.
For sure. So I don't know. I think the issue with legacy support too with Bandai, it's not an issue, but the trend is that they're trying to make older decks better, right, or help older strategies kind of be relevant. Maybe things that were good and or weren't, and now they want them to be, or they were and they no longer are. But the missing is, like, I think maybe they're trying to kind of scared to make certain things too broken, right? Like some of this stuff, like Red U7 and Gogeta Xeno, they were broken in their heyday, right? Even Green Gotenks had a huge showing in its heyday. But then they were like, we can give it support, but it's kind of like that teetering the line of too powerful if they go overboard, kind of how they went with the Surge stuff, right? They just went too far. Whereas I think other stuff they gave us support that, yeah, it's cute, but I think that was the thing with Blue Bardock. Yeah, the support was cute, but it's not even the problem that the deck had. You're solving problems or trying to solve a problem that the decks never said that were an issue.
Yeah, I was very excited for Gogeta
kinda-
Xeno. I thought, I was pumped because Black only gets a deck every 3 sets. It seems like, so
Right.
when they revitalize an old one, I'm very excited for it. And they just gave the deck more offense, which it didn't need. It needs a floodgate, to survive in the modern game, and it just the Kai giving everything 5K was cool, but it had to be in rest mode to give everything 5K, so you had to swing with this 10K, and it was asking you to put too many pieces together with the Python unison, and you had like what I kind of got around to is like if you can get multiple of those Kais on the board, then you can live because your leader's like a base 25. But there's just enough barrier removal out there now, and you have a 10K in rest mode. It's not. Yeah, it just wasn't. It was too much to ask. So everybody was like super hyped about the 8-drop triple strike, but they just negate, and then the next turn they remove it. It's not anything mind numbing. It's not like it. It needed to have that ability that you pay 1 for, also that warps the board. That needed to just all be 1 energy. Even then, I think it still wouldn't be that great, but it's just crazy how I was so excited for that, and they missed the mark on that one. Max, I assume you feel the same way.
Yeah, I disagree with the idea that the deck needs a floodgate. If it gets a floodgate, it's overpowered. Let's be honest here. I would love a floodgate, absolutely. That would be beautiful. But when like the Migra Unison and a couple other things came out, me and some local buddies tested the deck, and we were just killing people on turn 3, 4. Because if you got much second, you had turn 3 or turn 2 kill potential. But the promos, the legacy support was fire. I loved it, and the extra aggression was cool. Let's be honest, Flash is a broken card. Just wipe the board, cool. Add triple strike, and it wasn't limit 1. But the issue was because of the pan deck, they banned beyond all limits and took away a very, very important consistency piece in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like if you either saw what you saw and you couldn't get it back, which sucked. And it also took out one of the best 2-card combos in the deck, which let you do good pushes, which was Beyond All Limits plus the Heated Fighting Spirit. And it's just now it's just gone. You're like, all right. Well, I've warped all my good cards, and I have no way to get anything back, period. So that's why in my head I'm like, maybe they'll print a Z card that has a Beyond All Limits effect. That way it's just not free, you know what I mean? That'd be cool. But then they're like, no, you're stuck with what you got, bro. And then if you warp away your flashes, you're like, I really can't play the game. So I'm like, whatever, dude. But I had a lot of high hopes for the deck. It's fun to play, like, at a local level right now, but other than that, it's just not competitive like you would like it to be, unfortunately. So yeah, it was a rather large letdown, or even like a mini limits effect, like how Shroom and Salsa or the Demon God decks have the 20k whatever hitter that has that same effect, but I think it's only for 4 drops or something like that specifically. Like if you can't give me a 30k body, like, let me get a 20 dog, like something. I don't know.
Yeah, they already designed.
He grabs anything
4-drop
3 and 7.
with Beyond All Limits. Yeah. It's the same effect as Beyond All Limits, just on a 4-drop.
Yeah.
They already designed around
Yeah, it's
Beyond All
definitely-
Limits with that being an 8-drop to make sure that you couldn't get it back, and then it wasn't enough, unfortunately. All right, question 8: Legacy support wish list. Everybody, for some reason, Daniel put Kefla Surge. I don't know what more he wants for the deck. I mean, my goodness, a little or two.
Give us a check land, please.
Please don't.
Check lane. Yeah.
All right, so we'll just go through quick hitters here because everybody has a different one. Will, I think you should start because you're asking for Pan Reboot to get more support. Probably the deck that gets more support than.
I just want the hype train to
Oh,
keep
wow.
rolling.
The one that gets legacy support in every anniversary box. Yeah.
Don't let
Yeah,
Jason see this.
I don't like late night, Will.
Let's get it done.
Just no
Will, you're
way.
awful.
Like, every anniversary box has been fan.anniversary, and he's like, no, give him another one.
More. Needs more. Of
Okay,
course.
well,
Hasn't won a regional
Yeah,
yet.
speaker.
Still needs more.
Okay. It's running out of space.
It's gonna be all new cards. Miguel is already planning for Kefla's
Isn't there a new
demise
card?
and wants Aegis Gogeta buffed, another blue-yellow deck. It did get a little bit of support this year with a Z card, but is there something in particular
Irrelevant.
you're hoping for? Or?
If they could print like a Goku or Vegeta that you could play on turn 2 that just kills something, that'd be really useful because right now you have the Broly 8 drop, and that's, I mean, it's fine, but you can't really tap 2 in the early game for that. Sorry if I'm a bit laggy here, but that and a new fusion piece. The 4 drop's good, but I guess the 8 drop that costs 4. But you can't really play that into certain colors. So
Yeah,
maybe
I think
something
another
that's a bit
fusion would be
cheaper.
really nice. Mhm.
Yeah.
Jamal,
That's
you
not
want
as stupid.
you want more Bojack support, which seems also like how much?
Best deck and more support?
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming this is
So
yellow or
realistically,
green.
you just need more. It needs a searcher. If Bojack got something to search, it's that to find, because sometimes you just don't find the names, right? Or something to find Galactic Buster. I was talking to Dalby about it, and we kind of agreed. And I asked him, I was like, "Yo, if you won Worlds and they still let you make a card, what would you make?" He's like, "Honestly, I would just make a searcher for Bojack names and Galactic Buster, and that's it." Because like that's all the deck is missing. It's just something that a consistency piece, short of this because your best thing is just the randomization of off the top of your deck or what's in your hand, and that's kind of an issue sometimes. But
Fury, you went with Zamasu Burn.
Nice.
Do you have a specific idea in mind for this?
I that deck needs a lot, but like I'd like something to make it where my opponent is actually forced to keep the energy that I allegedly give to them temporarily. Give me a Z battle card that says if I ramped one of that energy, it stays, so they can just sit there and suffer, so I can actually burn them. And like make it where here it is. Make it where they keep the energy, but that energy stays tapped, so they can suffer. I'm down.
Okay.
Okay, well, nobody put the person on the R&D team. Thank you.
Yeah, he's out. He's fired before he's hired. Cool.
Pleasure, you picked 2 green decks. Do you have a preference or a card that goes in both, or what are you thinking here?
I've got ideas for both. Yeah, I think it's funny that I asked for something that Beer thought got the best legacy support. I just think that Green Gohan, if it just got back to the old ways, just a little bit, just a little taste of it, you know, like the whole Z leader, like make that possible again. Like, yeah, man, it's so close. And Green Vegito is also very close, but it needs something that can Z charge better for you, essentially. Like the Goku 4 drop is just not enough. It's a good card, but it's not. I need it to kill something, and then it's great. There you go. That's it. But also secretly Green Go tanks. Something better than Pan Pocket Pan.
Will with another legacy support for a deck that's winning. That's cool. You really like Pan, huh, Will? Weird.
Pan did get support.
You can't
Pan did get
Will
support.
when you just said Blue Bojack best deck. Oh, but it needs support.
It's a wish list,
Pan
dog.
support.
There's no way, dude.
It's a wish list, and I wish for.
Pan deck made top 16. Like, oh, it's big. Like what?
That's wish list, baby. Third at Naps.
All right,
wish list, baby.
Jay went with starter deck Frieza. I'm assuming that's the green hand control deck he's referring to.
Yeah, the racist one.
I assume that is pretty far away from relevancy. So besides a card that pitches like your whole hand, I don't know what he's hoping for there. Max, you picked Golden Cooler, which did get some support in the champ packs this year, which was pretty good, honestly. The card was okay.
Was it though?
Was Cumber OP?
No. Calm down there, Bobby. The support from the champ pack, the Cumber 5-drop or whatever, it didn't change anything in the deck. It played the exact same way, had the same exact problems, and didn't fix a single thing. And I'm like, wow, this card should be broken, but this is terrible. Your hand size never changes. It should be one of the coolest, I don't know, black control decks or whatever on the planet, but it's not, unfortunately. It just needs something. I don't know what it needs, but it needs something. So I'd like another draw engine. The Unison just never lives, and you're always like, you always need one more energy, and you're like, brother, I just can't. And for some reason, the worst part is I have like 40 names in the deck, and somehow you run out of names no matter what. It doesn't make any sense, dog. I'm like, where are all my cooler cards, bro?
It's the over reliance on the
prison.
unison.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Yep. The fact that you have to replay that Z unison
locked
over
up.
and over because it never bridges is just an inherent
And if it
flaw.
came down with like, if it was like if you actually got to just toss it on your turn or something, that'd be cool. Period. But it's just not enough, bro. I've had to do moments where I tap 2 and sack my marker just to get 3 markers on it, so it can potentially survive.
And it still dies.
I'm just
And they
saying.
deal them.
Let me guess, Bobby. You want for your red Gohanks? You want a leader lock bunny girl? Cool.
That
In
would
discussion.
be great. Yep, I would. I think this is an easy one, Red Gohanks, to support. They banned one of the trunks that went underneath the Z Extra, and I think you could easily just print another trunks that does something else. Whatever you want to do with that, I don't know.
Dual
It also
attack.
it also
Limited to 1, I thought.
They limited.
they limited it to 1. Yeah, so I
Right.
mean, secret rare. You can recycle it if you see it, but it's much hard. That made the deck much more competitive, just having that double strike threat live all the time. It also just
Bunny
has
girl.
such a negative matchup into the yellow sin counterplay card that just stops basically your boss monster, and it just has like a lack of barrier removal in general. It needs a card like Kid Crew got to just out barrier somehow. I don't know what it could get, but it's a really cool deck, and I think it's kind of a bummer that it's fallen out of the meta. And I just like the play style. I thought it was just a fun deck to play. It can interact with unisons. It's a strong deck. I wish maybe the Z leader, maybe it gave it a Z leader that you could bursting rage into instead of like a dual name Z leader, or it doesn't. It's not simpatico with it. So I don't know, but that seems like an easy one where they could just like print a Gohan and print a Trunks to tuck, and you'd have a good deck. All right, so we're almost there. Question 9.
I like that deck.
Yeah, it's a good one. The most problematic card moving
Yeah,
into
I think
2026. We might be here for a while. We had a lot of similar responses. Buriar, I think you should go first, and you should tell us why the Gogeta SCR is the most problematic card in the game.
Can you do it with the sandal in your hand too?
Do you want me to grab my sandal? I'll grab my sandal.
don't
I
throw
mean,
it. Don't
I've
throw
already
it.
said it before in the previous
Keep
podcast.
it
Like
PG.
I already, I got you. It's obviously I really do hate that card. Like it really does remove a lot of skill when it just goes off. It punishes you for literally playing the game. But the reason I'm saying it's problematic right now isn't because of those reasons. The reason now is we're going into a new set where yellow is getting a generic SR Vegeta that just lets you rip a life for 1 yellow. And what this means is if you get to like turn, like not turn 4, but like if you're at turn 4 and you're at 4 life, your opponent's like, oh, I'm not going to swing it. It was already just play surmounting whatever, right? Like that's a no-brainer. But now what happens is let's say your opponent's like hard stalling you from going to that life total, and you go to like turn 5, turn 6. Let's say you're at 5 life. You just go, cool. I'll just play surmounting and then take a life, and then I'll play the Vegeta for 1 and take a life, and I will just tap the 4 energy needed, or whatever it is. Like, you just go to that point, you're like, wow, I just have Gogeta S here. I can just force it. I will take 2 of my own life, and then I heal 1 of it back anyways. So that also hurts too, because that SR lets you kind of circumvent one of the downsides of Gogeta. Is you have to be at 3 life. Well, it forces you to 3, but then you go back to 4, and that gives you an extra cushion as well, right? So it's like, why? Like, why did they decide we're going to print a generic SR that's just going to make the most stupidest card in the game even more accessible? It's stupid.
Miguel, did he miss
SCR is
anything?
fair and balanced.
No, I mean the SCR is already a problem. In that new Vegeta deck, they can technically play it at 5 life because the extra card lets them go to 4. Vegeta lets them go to 3. They play it at the end of the turn. They'll go back to 5,
That's pretty insane.
and
Broken.
that's
Seems like they
pretty
made the
nuts,
deck to play the
honestly.
secret rare. That's like literally what I think.
Which is, it's like the one way to play around it is you don't put them to 3. Like,
Yeah.
and now you can't even do that.
Yeah.
But
That's the problem.
All right, Jay.
even without this Vegeta leader, the card needs to be fixed.
For sure. Yeah, we've labored this point in other videos too. So I think everyone, I think the community too at large is kind of like, let's do something about it. Jay picked the Dark Mass King Negate, which is kind of narrow in scope, with it only being applicable really in Power Wish right now. But it is just an insane broken interaction that with a 6 color that card is just a free Nimbus.
On a body,
20k body that is not limit 1, so you can just free negate multiple times in a turn. So we talked about that in the Tefla deck profile, where that card was so good for Power Wish. So yeah, that is a problematic card just because it's not future proofed. So I agree with him there. Twinner, you picked Bardock the Tenacious, the one tool the black has that's pretty strong, and you don't like it. So please explain.
Yep. The only reason I lose. Just kidding, I lose for other ways. It just feels like you get this stupid, like, especially it goes back to Warp Vegeta, I think, a little bit too, where like they have access to like this just incredible floodgate. I mean, I only get 1 battle card. At least at other floodgates, I usually at least get 2. Like Nimbus, you still get 2 battle card swings. I mean, only one's going through, but whatever. It just seems like such a crutch, and I just am very annoyed by it. And yeah, I don't like it. There you go. That's my thoughts.
Whoa.
You have to lock
Yeah,
it.
that spam dormant for 4 straight
I
years.
don't
Yeah,
spam
right,
dormant.
weird.
I spam King Cold.
No
There's a difference.
way.
Oh yeah, surely.
You still have 3 to 4 dormants in your deck, bro. Yeah, I get only Tenacious every other turn. I can do it once a game, Doug. That's crazy.
Basically.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Crutch.
I'm out.
Max
Bye.
took that personal.
Daniel picked Pilaf Shumai Cunning Trio, which is probably the best negate body
That's a
negate
good
in the
one.
game right
That's a
now.
good
Draws a
answer.
card. It does so much for 1 energy. Petrillo, this is one of your favorite cards that you play in as many decks as you possibly can. Why do you think Daniel thinks this is so
Pilaf?
problematic? Yeah.
Same reason Broly Omen shouldn't exist. It just denies Z energy in a game that wants Z energy. Like, it's
It hurts a
I think
mechanic
they've-
that, you know.
yeah. It's like the same reason they errated Zamasu the Eliminator, because they were pushing Unisons for Awaken and you couldn't do that. I mean, you can play through Pilaf, but it
Feels bad.
feels really bad. Yeah, they drew a card and you go -1.
Every time.
Pretty stupid.
All right. So Jamal, you picked Mill. Mill in general, not even
Yeah.
Zamasu, just Mill.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yes.
Mill the card.
Can I get a whoop
Yes.
whoop?
Yep. Just mill.
This is the sound
No,
of the police.
it's I said mill just because I really couldn't think of a true problematic card. Right, because everything kind of can be played around, and I just don't want to say Gogeta SCR either, because like it is a problem. Obviously, it's kind of clear. But like mill in general, I just have always kind of like had a problem with the idea of like every deck draws so much, right? The good decks. And that's where the game has become, where every card replaces itself. Everything is a draw card printed on it, and your leaders are drawing 2 now and this. So you're just turboing through your deck so fast. So then now you have this mill mechanic, and there's not a lot of anti-mill to stop that. And so, and you have to kind of draw to play a lot of these decks, right? It's mandatory. It's not a you may, like it might be in some other card games. But so you're getting punished for playing your game. Like it just feels kind of weird to me. Like that's kind of my problem. I know it's not a card, but like anything that really cards that mill, right? It's just a little bit too much. Yeah, we have this weird anti-mill cards, and we can tech this and play that. If you mill the card you tech, then you're still going to get milled. You know what I mean? And you didn't stop the mill. That's kind of an issue. I think maybe they need to just make a silver bullet to say if this card is sent from somewhere to your drop, you can put X cards back or something. I don't know. Maybe
They just have to unban the Tian or the Tau from set 6? They printed silver bullets for mill back in the day, back in set 6. They banned them though.
Right. I mean, but they've made silver bullets directly for D Magic, right? There's ones that that literally only affect one card in the game. So it's just like to say Mill gets to kind of run rampant, and yeah, it's not always prevalent, but it always exists. And I think that's the problem. It's always something we have to always think about when you're going into a major event. And it's just this weird, how do you play around your opponent just saying, hey, Mill X cards off the top of your deck? Like it just, I don't know, it creates, I think, unfair play style in a game.
Yeah, agreed. They definitely could.
So-
We could use some side deck tech update for that. That's a good point. Will, you picked the Red Broly leader coming out in the next set that releases on Friday. Do you have specific thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, when I read this question, I was kind of thinking about like moving into 2026, like new cards in 2026. So my brain instantly went to this, the Red Bullet Leader is going to push out bodies that are big and give it, is it dual attack and barrier, which is pretty nuts. That's like the same thing we were talking about earlier with Saiyaman barrier on turn 2, So big beefy bodies that I think that deck's just gonna be pushed and prevalent when the set does come out. And I see you guys also answered the Z battle card, which is a great answer because I've seen some of the testing you guys have done with that, and it looks scary when that thing's stuck on the board with barrier, to say the least.
Yeah, to segue into that, I mean, that Bio Broly Z battle card, I couldn't even believe it when that first Whatnot picture showed up, and it just had every keyword, like just the amount of text on that card, 30k, double strike, blocker, barrier, like just every, and it doesn't have barrier, but it gets it from the leader every turn. And the permanent that it can't be removed, and it beans, and it's just like, that's better than 75% of the SCRs printed in the game. And that just comes out of your Z deck for 1 energy, basically, because of that 7-drop Broly. And there are cards that out it, for sure. But there's a lot of decks that just will have 0 answer to that. I don't really know what you're supposed to do in black to stop that card. Even if you petrify it, the permanent's still live. There's just so many...
Pretty imposing.
I don't know why they gave that card reverse bond. I was like, what is this?
It's kind of funny because
on play, it's very just like, okay.
Right, red clears the board now.
You gotta play 3 cards and it triple beams their leader too.
This thing and then pat. Cool guys.
Yeah, your board more. It's like, oh, at least I'll have the 2 cards going in, or I could play around it or something, or set up for it. Nope, they can clear your board ignoring barrier, and then here's a card that says, hey, if you don't have at least 2 on the battlefield, you're also not killing this, or 3 on the battlefield. So weird.
3.
Right, you need
God,
a
red can answer.
Acceptable, but 3.
3, right? 3 is a lot. To then say, so you're basically saying I have to trigger the effect. I mean, I guess technically speaking, now that's where
out to kill this and then do nothing with my
and then do nothing, right? I guess
And then play another one
Deborah.
next turn.
Yeah. Anyway, but then Deborah, I guess, becomes like the best out, right, in blue. But again, that's still, at least it's not your entire. It is your entire turn, but I guess you're playing blue, so it's okay. But even then,
the best out in blue is the
Deborah
yellow
Unison.
collector rare. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like good thing Kevlar Surge exists, I guess.
Sorry, Miguel.
yeah, but you
That'll-
still
that'll
trigger
help
the
clear
effect,
this thing.
right? You still give them a trigger.
Yeah, I know you will for sure. Yeah.
Cooler counters it. The new cooler deck actually answers it because the field card says they can't activate skills. It's the petrification effect. So, like, if they ever swing with it, you just peel off Shumai, do the field, and then they can't do anything. And if they don't give it bear, you just play the field and just look at them and be like, all right, I'm going to play my game now. But, like, other than that, like, red is, like, the only color that can really out
Yeah,
it.
but you still, even there, I think the issue is you still have to build your board back up to even kill it, right? Because that doesn't negate it's permanent. It just negates the trigger. So you still got to play 2 cooler cards, and you still, and maybe you didn't want to do that. But it's to Max's point, right? You're spending your entire turn.
Yeah.
Most decks are going to have to spend their entire turn just to kill that card in whatever way possible. And that's probably not really what you wanted to do on that turn.
For sure.
He's so
I think
ugly.
yellow and red will out it, though. Yellow and red have the easiest answers to it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
We're gonna have to look at this Womp monster for like all format coming
Every
up here.
game. Every
He's
game.
an ugly looking
Yeah.
card.
You also got to
It's
waste your
not-
barrier. You waste your barrier removal on that, so then now you can't use your barrier removal because like barrier removal is limited, right? In most decks, majority of them. So then you got to use it on that to then not have it for their 8-drop, right? Their boss monster, and that gets the bridge a turn or blah blah
Just
blah.
play
Because
every
you run out of
Bio
hand.
next turn is the
Start
defense.
bridging.
Or they just keep
that
playing
extra
Bio
card.
Broly, right? And then okay, I use my barrier removal for 2-3 turns up. Now your SCR gets to stick or something. I don't know. It's just not a lot. There's answers,
It's a
but
problematic
unless
card.
you're playing like green, that obviously is barrier removal deck. Most decks only have a few cards to really get through barrier.
When I looked at this list, and I think to
It's it.
myself, what can get around all this stuff? And it's the Dotru Black deck. Just play a bunch of unisons. You don't have to worry about triggering Bio Broly. You can play Tenacious. You don't have any cards in hand to combo, so you don't have to worry about Pilaf Shumai. Like you don't have to worry about
And
mill.
if they mill you,
You're good. You just played with no deck. So I think
Surely.
Dotru Black might just be the
Problem
best deck
solved.
in the following format. Yeah, we'll find out if
How
just
surely
please
Red
don't
the most-
flip
Kid
my
doesn't
leader
care either.
or release from Evil Me, and then we'll be good. But if you do that,
Red Kid Crew doesn't care either. By the way, against Broly, it doesn't care. It'll go cool. I'll play a free play. Oh, cool. You're being there. I play 30Ks. Play my SR. Play 2 more bodies. Cool. You're a 30K. I still swing 30K base. I kill your Broly, and now you die. It's like that kind of doesn't care either. But yeah,
it's a silly card, and I don't know why they like. I don't know. You read the cards
It's
in other archetypes that are like pretty like reasonable cards, and then you read that, and it's like what? Why? Maybe if it really was
like a-
3 and 3, like okay, I guess, but that Broly
Yeah.
reducing it is just
even
so
then,
insane.
I'll pay 3. I'll pay 3. I don't care. I'll pay 3 another red deck.
I think the issue is
the Tenacious, but doesn't want to get rid of this card.
meanwhile.
Like,
Oh, yeah, meanwhile.
This is my first time reading it.
I'm not gonna lie. I think
I agree with this
card might have
card. That's
been-
good. Yeah.
the card might have been okay to an extent. It would have been annoying, right? If it's just the permanent. All right, you can play the barrier game. It's the permanent on top of that. Now,
Yeah.
There's so many other
most,
cards
if
that need
not all
something like
removal
that.
is linked to a battle card. Right.
Like some form of
Oh, hey,
protection.
do you know that's
I don't know.
It's really crazy. And it's like, why is it 30K? I don't understand. All right. The last question, kind of a bonus question, just because we have Miguel here, who will be participating in Worlds in April. Small pocket meta, 8 players. We still don't know all the participants yet, but we each did a little prediction here on what we think might happen at Worlds. I kind of just left it open ended. Twinner, you. This seems very slanderous. I don't know why you would do this, but you wrote North America doesn't win Worlds. Why? Why would you say that? You're not going to LCQ
Because I
win?
didn't want to
I
write
don't understand.
Patrilla's gonna win.
Could be 8.
Yeah,
right?
And
I
it was
just
not part of any.
I didn't know what to do, and Patrilla said something, so I was salty. So there you go.
All right,
Fair enough.
Daniel
I'll allow it.
believes in the Kefla players because he says Kefla Surge gets banned after Worlds, which, if you get a World
Could happen.
Championship off of it, it can go away. I think the deck has done what it needed to do. Will, you
What
put
is
the
it?
Gogeta, Tide,
Yeah.
Switcheroo, Electric Boogaloo too. Thoughts?
I like
What does that
that.
even mean, Kobe Bryant?
Yeah,
You didn't know what that
it's,
means? I understood. I
that's my
understood.
Worlds
It's provocative.
prediction. You don't know what Patrilla is going to run for Worlds. It's it could be Beast, it could be Gogeta Tide, it could be the Electric Boogaloo 2. We'll find out in April.
Who's
I'm
not
an
even playing
SCR.
Kefla, dude?
True. We got 2 sets.
Yeah.
Are
Good
there
luck
odds on
having,
that?
Cool
Can
about
I,
that.
can I put money on?
having to play around everything that Kefla does. Good luck. Have
This
fun.
bio, bro, is as broken as it sounds.
All right, Miguel tried to throw everybody off the scent, and he said the majority of players will be playing BT30 decks. Great.
That's
I'm
reasonable.
fairly confident in that, actually.
I can see that.
What if BT30 is the same
I can
power
see that
level as
one.
BT29?
It is
I don't
not.
think it will be. I really
is
don't
not.
think it will be.
Yeah.
Play the new and shiny.
I heard
no one
from-
knows what's happening.
I think
I heard
when
from
you're such
little-
an open meta, you're gonna just have that one deck. Like we've been kind of looking for that one deck to. You can say Kefla's the best deck, but we've been kind of waiting for that one deck to kind of tower over. So I think it's gonna be BT30.
All right, you do have some
Yeah.
believers.
I just think the word on the grapevine is that BT30 is a very, very increased power level of the game. So,
We don't need
like that 29 was really as a supplementary set, but the rumblings is that BT30 is going to be very, very, very strong. It's going to have a big kind of mainstay in the meta, or effect on the meta, I should say.
More Bio Broly cards? Great.
Well, maybe at this point, I'm surprised.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Legacy support for Bio Broly.
Yeah.
The Black Floodgate finally. That
Yeah.
So Max and Jay both agreed here. They said, "Don't play Mill. He's ready." So
I'm
Right.
telling you, bro. I'm telling you, bro. No
I
green,
still
no
haven't-
mill, baby.
I still haven't played one mill deck since Nats.
We're,
No green, no
we're
mill.
doing it.
yeah, that's your
I can
lobby.
recently
No
pull a mill
green,
if
no
you
mill,
want.
so nobody joins.
No
Mm.
green, no mill.
Yeah.
I do think the consensus is that we think, even today, right? Danny's whole point is that Kefla Search gets banned, and I think that's based off winning and representation, right? Whether it is, and hopefully it is, but Miguel, and even if it's not, it is going to be represented by a few of them, right? They're going to take that deck, unless something in 30, it's just that impactful that we just say, oh, this actually beats the deck. Because nothing in 29 really seems like it has that impact to say it can beat Kefla.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see a lot of
faith in Miguel. My prediction was that he will be the world champion. I look forward to one day opening a card,
Buy it.
pack with a card that says created by Miguel Petrillo at the bottom.
They don't.
Man, I wish, dude.
They're bringing it back.
I'm
We're gonna-
sorry to burst
They're
your
gonna find out.
bubble, but they don't do it anymore. So that dream is gonna stay a dream, no matter what.
Come on,
They-
Don't make
They
them
got a
hard.
fixed world surprising, dude.
They can do it. They can do it.
Fixed world surprising.
But it'll be interesting for sure to see
I think
how that goes down. It's interesting that it's also not. The
Hey,
past
Miguel.
few years they've done it directly after Nats, right? So it's cool that you have this extended time, 2 sets coming out.
Yeah.
Who knows
Right.
what it's going to look like? So it'll be interesting to see who qualifies and what those players are going to end up bringing and what decks will be relevant. Because you might not even be able to bring your set that you won your region with or topped your region with. So pretty cool. So that is every question that we had. Hopefully that was a discussion
Can I
you
ask Miguel a
enjoyed.
question?
There's a better question than the 10 I brainstormed?
I just have one.
Okay.
Just one question for Miguel. Just for Miguel, for our NA representative, right? Just for the
hero.
people.
Sure.
If he could, if and when he won, and if he could make a card, what card would you make?
It's a Kefla
Like what
Checkland.
idea of a card?
It's a Kefla.
It would actually be a Kefla Checkland. But I mean,
Ah,
if you win with the deck, they're obviously not going to let you make a card for it. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I'd probably make a Black Floodgate.
Why you
We'll see.
buttering us up, dude?
You're
Why
saying that
you
so he
doing
doesn't
that?
keep you off the
Win.
team.
Miguel needs to win.
I
We're
think-
taking everybody out.
I think a Black or White Floodgate. I mean, at this point in the game,
Everyone just surrender now.
It'd be a shame if the Europeans missed their flight.
Yeah, weird.
That's crazy.
Just saying, guys, if you want a Black Floodgate, Miguel for that. Miguel for Worlds.
All right. Well, that brings this video to a conclusion. Hopefully you enjoyed the discussion. We'll have hopefully some more content on the channel. If you've been just on Untapped noticing, there's been a lot of testing of new format, new decks. There's a lot of cool stuff in the new set, even though it might not be top tier. A couple decks are gonna make an impact, I'm sure, but there's just a lot of neat mechanics. It seems like they do a better job now of designing playable decks, at least for the most part. It seems like almost every deck in this set, even if it's not the greatest, is still a functioning deck. So hopefully we'll get some content out now that Nats is over, and you guys can check that out. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Deuces.